For like every 15 movies Netflix releases, maybe 1 or 2 are actually good or great. So whenever a new Netflix movie releases, I'm like, is this going to be the one? Is this going to be the one? This wasn't the one. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I am back with a review for Spiderhead. Now before we get into this review, if you're new here, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. It helps out my channel a lot. So with that out of the way, let's get into this review. Spiderhead's a new Netflix movie directed by Joseph Kosinski, I think that's how you say his last name, and stars Chris Hemsworth and Miles Teller. And unfortunately, Spiderhead's another disposable Netflix movie. It has the potential of being something good, it has potential with its story, and I do feel like a lot of the Netflix movies has potential, you can see it, but I don't know if it's because they seem to focus on quantity over quality, that Netflix is just wanting to get movies out that they don't give the creators enough time to really flesh out their ideas and make something great. Maybe, I don't know, but with this movie, I'm really feeling that. Like with other Netflix movies I've seen, this potential for something was there. You could see it in the story, but the execution kind of fell flat. It's got an interesting premise, kind of, for me, with this idea of creating these drugs that sort of create and manipulate emotions from people. That had the potential of going somewhere, but I think they chose the wrong tone for this movie. It was more, I felt like a drama for a lot of it, like serious drama, but I think it should have been more psychological thriller or even horror. I'm not huge into psychological horrors, but even I, someone who's not huge into that, feel like this movie may have been better if it focused on being that kind of movie, especially because this movie didn't really stick to one tone. Like I said, it had sort of like the drama kind of serious tone for a lot of this movie, especially in the middle, but at the end, in the sort of climax of the movie, it kind of went goofy, like sort of slapstick, and those two just didn't mix for me, especially because it just sort of felt like it came out of nowhere, that other tone. When it came to the actual scenes with like the experiments in this movie, they were kind of hit and miss for me. There was some early on that I just didn't care for, just for what I did not care for. And then there was one later on that was really like intense and sad, that I thought was well done. But one thing I thought wasn't too great was these scenes of the experiments that were going on. We saw them as the main character was watching them, and you see a bit of these experiments actually happen to the main character, but for the most part you're watching it with the main character and hearing about what their experience was before, but you didn't really see much of that. I think this movie could have been better, more suspenseful, sorry, if you're watching these experiments happen to the main character, because that's the character that the audience is supposed to be connected to the most. So I think they should have changed that, have it actually happen more to the main character instead of him watching it happen to other people. What really carries this movie for me is Chris Hemsworth and Miles Teller. Those two actors are great in this, and they have some great scenes together when they're just acting with each other. It's great. Chris Hemsworth looks like he's having a lot of fun. Miles Teller gives a very emotional performance at times, so that was great. And there's times I thought Chris Hemsworth was doing a really good job, because he's coming off as this happy, optimistic guy that acts like he cares about these people, and then there's certain scenes where, you know, if another character he's talking to sort of looks away or whatnot, and the camera cuts back to Chris Hemsworth, there's subtle changes in his facial expressions, and you sort of learn later on about what his actual motives are and whatnot. So that I thought was actually great. Those two actors and their performances and some of their scenes together, I thought was actually great in this movie. Unfortunately as well, the motivation to have these experiments and create these drugs kind of fell flat for me. The motivation was there, like you got it, but it wasn't really fleshed out. It was just sort of like a basic reason for doing what the villain was doing, and sort of their goal with it was sort of like, kind of seen that before quite a bit, at least I thought. So that really fell flat with the execution. Just the reason behind all of this was just like, I felt like not a whole lot of thought was put into it. And again, maybe if Netflix was more focused on quality over quantity, they may have had more time to work on this and flesh that out. Overall, Spiderhead is yet another disposable Netflix movie. If you're a fan of these two actors, I would suggest checking it out to see more of their work. They do a great job, but the story just falls flat. You can see the potential, but the execution just wasn't there. Overall, I would give this movie a 48%. It's not great. Well, that does it for my review of Spiderhead. Stay tuned for my review of Lightyear. That'll be coming out very soon. As well, later this week, I'll be continuing my countdown of all the James Bond movies with a review of From Russia with Love. As well, I'm hoping to do a ranking video of all the Pixar movies. So stay tuned for that. And again, if you're new here, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. So until my next video, take care, everybody.